Welcome to an episode of Chat Sports Talk. And welcome to the Divisional Rounds and the NFL playoffs. That's right, we're down to the Elite Eight. And there's only one surprise entry this week. And almost every single division winner is in it. Not like college football where all the conference winners failed to make it to the Final Four. But anyways, beside the point. We'll go over to those divisional games, my picks for them. Go a quick look back at the wild card and some other NFL news floating out there. NFL news out there, the number of coaches vacancies stayed the same, even though one location got a coach, another one lost their coach. We got to Dallas, where the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy have mutually parted ways. Remember, McCarthy was a topic of interest by the Chicago Bears. When you're still under contract with Dallas, Dallas told him no. Now he's going to go talk with the Bears. I'm not sure about that one for Chicago. I get the draw to him, but I'd rather have, if I'm going to go with a former head coach, I'd rather take Pete Carroll over McCarthy. But that's just my personal opinion. We'll see what happens from there. Chicago's been known to make a few bad choices of head coaches there so often, so we'll see. About New England, they have their new head coach. It's a name they know very well. Mike Vrabel used to play for the Patriots. He knows the Patriots way. He used that same mentality in Tennessee when he coached the Titans. He used it against Belichick in a playoff game. Same type of mind games and chess moves on the board. We'll see if a second return player is what New England needs. They had Mayo last year, who was a former player as well. But at least Vrabel has, I think, more coaching experience than Mayo did. So we'll see how that transpires in New England. But I think it might be a positive thing because Vrabel has had success. So you can probably see that translate to the team play. And having Drake May there as your centerpiece could be a nice addition for any head coach. Well, that's the news. Not much going out there. In terms of last week, I went 4-2. I called for an upset, but I picked the wrong one. Call for the Chargers to go into Houston and win. Houston's defense is like, no, we ain't playing this game. And they shut down the Chargers. I mean, it was almost comical at how they made Justin Herbert look. And C.J. Stroud was having easy time of it pretty much. So we're not going to get to see another Hardball Bowl coming up anytime soon. We saw one in the regular season, they're going to see in the playoffs. And that was the upset I chose. And I chose poorly. A lot of these games I called for them to be close, and none of them were, except for one. So, I mean, we saw how Baltimore handled Pittsburgh. It wasn't even close for the Steelers. They just couldn't get anything going. It was just a complete collapse. Houston dominated. Buffalo was unreal. 31 straight unanswered points. That first successful drive, and after that, Buffalo clamped things down. It's like, all right, you had your score. That's it. We spotted you 7. Yeah, that was unreal. Philly was just way too much for Green Bay. I don't know, maybe losing to Chicago was a bad thing for the Packers because they went against the Eagles and just couldn't do anything right. The Rams were all over Minnesota. I mean, I called that one. And that really hurt Sam Darnold's contract talks for next coming season. If you look at his last 2 games, this year against Detroit and LA. 2 high-profile games. He crumbled under the pressure. Minnesota also went away from running the ball, and that will hamper you. They went, pass first, pass second, run third. that was their thing. Pass, run. Makes it easy. You blitz. And that was how the team kind of, crumbled because it just couldn't handle the pressure. Darnold was being uneasy, unsure of himself, hanging on the ball way too long. That led to their demise. Their defense clamped things down in the second half, but offense couldn't duplicate that lift and play style. In Washington, Tampa Bay, the game that I said will probably be the upset, because I went Tampa Bay just because of Baker Mayfield. He knows how to play, but Jason Daniels, once again, give him the opportunity to lead the team back. He will take it. He's done it multiple times this year. He is a key aspect of why the Commanders are in the playoffs now, why the Commanders are in the Divisional Round, why the Commanders were briefly maybe going to win the division. This is a well put together team, well coached team. The quarterback's finding his place in the system. He knows how to go, where to go with the ball. I mean, when you have Scary Terry as one of your receivers, it makes things a little easy for you. But to win on a doink field goal, it says chef's kiss, to win, and Baker ended up being Baker in the end, called up the ball the wrong up to time. That kind of led for this Washington charge back, and we'll see how they transpire in the Divisionals. Now it's time for the Divisional Round. Time to see which teams move on to the conference championship game. And Kansas City, Detroit would make in their playoff debut this year. Kansas City's looking for that elusive three-peat for Super Bowl champions. And they'll start things off on Saturday afternoon on ABC/ESPN as they play host to the Houston Texans. Once again, these two teams faced off back on the 21st. A game I thought Houston was going to go in there because of that defense and beat Kansas City. But Kansas City is like, okay, keep dialing me. And it is going to be hard for that defense to try to contain Patrick Mahomes. They will be able to do it a few times, but he'll still find ways to be elusive. Having Pacquiao and Kareem Hunt back there will help alleviate that defensive front from those big boys of the Texans. The secondary will probably be challenged, but no, more likely double up on Kelsey. But Kelsey always seems to find a way, especially in key moments, to make himself a target. You should have that Speedster Watkins to worry about. And Kareem Hunt is actually one of those guys who can actually, those pass-catching tight ends. So the Chiefs' defense are going to be a little bit more worried about to try to stop C.J. Stroud, but they did it last time. And with Jones leading the charge for the Chiefs on that front, he's going to be playing havoc in the backfield. But they contain Mixon and C.J. Stroud. There's a dual threat right there to really worry about. I believe they'll be able to take care of the receivers for the Texans. As is which team's going to really step up. Kansas City has had the rest. Some other players have had 2 weeks rest. Will rust play a factor in this game? I do believe Kansas City will have a slow start in this game, just because they haven't played. Some of the players have not played for 2 weeks. But once the blood starts flowing and all the muscle memory comes back to them, you got to watch out. Houston needs to go up big early to sustain the Kansas City comeback. That's going to be part of the issue. Houston, I don't think, will be able to capitalize on a slow Kansas City start. They might be able to get 10 points on the board before Kansas City really get going. But once Kansas City gets going, that's a different animal to worry about. And Patrick Mahomes is going to show why he is one of the best quarterbacks of this generation. Analytically, the Chiefs have a 63% advantage. They're also having a 7.5 point advantage in the point spread. I think that is a bad take on the Houston Texans. I do think the Texans make this close. I mean, the first meeting was 27-19. I mean, yeah, it's still more 7 points. I think Houston's going to score more than that. I think Houston's going to be up there, probably at the 24 range. They're going to make this a game. Kansas City is going to have to fight for this. And I believe they can. I've doubted Mahomes plenty of times this year, and he smacked me around plenty of times. But it's just one of these things that, eventually I'm going to be right about the Chiefs losing a game. But in this game, I would take Houston for the point, Kansas City for the win, and they'll move on to host the AFC Championship game. Well, then we'll move over to the 7 o'clock game on Saturday night, where we have the Washington Commanders will go to the Motor City to take on the Detroit Lions. This should be entertaining. Can that Washington defense continue that dominance they had against Tampa Bay against Detroit? Yes and no. Yes, Detroit does struggle against good defenses, but they always seem to find ways to win because their defense matches the intensity. And that's going to be a huge factor in that game. And if they want to do a shootout, they can do shootouts. I mean, it's going to be difficult for the Commanders trying to dictate how things go in terms of doing that. If the Commanders end up scoring 36, Detroit's probably going to have 40. I mean, it probably will be that type of game. But Jayden Daniels is definitely a premier athlete. He has showcased his abilities to really stay cool, calm, collective under pressure and find those key moments. Even launching long Hail Marys to win games. Yeah, I had to bring that up, didn't I? Can run to elude sacks. I mean, he was very elusive against, Tampa Bay. They've had a couple times in the backfield, and somehow he just squirted it out. He just, maybe puts baby oil on it or something, how, wrestlers do and bodybuilders do to kind of glisten their muscles. He's just like slips away from the defenders. So it's going to be a hard thing for Detroit to do to kind of get there. I don't know if the injuries on the defense are going to play a huge factor for Detroit. I mean, I think almost the entire defensive team is injured. So that thing's still going to play a huge factor in this game. Hasn't really hurt them that much. The offense had to just score more points, and they had the talent. Amon St. Brown has definitely put himself up there as one of the premier receivers this year. Jamar Gibbs has definitely risen as one of the premier running backs as well. Jared Goff is still a very good quarterback. He's looking to get back to the Super Bowl, redeem what he did when he was with the Rams. And I see a good game between these two. Right now, analytically, Detroit's favored by 73%. Point spread is only at 5.5. This one pays more respect to Washington. I get that. I like that. I'm not going to, say either way. I mean, do I think it might be a little bit closer? Possibly, but way last week went with the and how I thought it was going to be lower scoring, and turned out the spread was better. This one I'm going to leave it the same, but I'm also going Detroit to to win this game to also ensure they host the NFC Championship game next week. Now we had this Sunday. Then we get the Rams visiting Philadelphia. The Rams, the team I think no one wants to face off because this was a team that's on a roll right now. I mean, way that team performed against Minnesota is spectacular. We're going to take on a Philadelphia team that's not the same quality. Last time these 2 minutes, Saquon Barkley just decimated the Lions defense, or the Rams defense, excuse me. Can that happen again? Can the Rams be able to stop the rushing attack and have Jalen Hurts beat him with the arm? I think that might be a bad move, especially when you got, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith as well to worry about. And, if A.J. Brown will get more of attention, he's going to be on. You won't be reading so much on the sidelines as he was last game. But he was just staying cool, calm, collective last week. And this is going to be a very good game between Matthew Stafford and Jalen Hurts. So we see which quarterback's going to rise up. Jalen Hurts will probably have to do more passing in this game to kind of relieve pressure on Saquon. And then once Saquon starts doing the balance attack, then you really start seeing Philadelphia really try to get around that Rams defensive rush. And Matthew Stafford is going to have to deal with a lot of the Philadelphia defense. They're going to be in his face a lot. Philadelphia offensive line is going to be, I think, up to the challenge. I don't know if the Rams offensive line is going to be up to the challenge against the Philadelphia rush. And that's going to be a key factor because if Stafford doesn't have time to throw, he may not get the calls where he's pretty much getting sacked and he throws the ball away. Not even looking. He's not even forward motion. He's kind of chucked it like this, and they call it, nope. Incomplete pass, just thrown to a receiver. All things going to get those type of calls, but with him, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp as the big three right there, it's going to be hard to really stop that Rams offense. I do think the Rams are going to make this a very close game. Right now, analytically, Philly's only favored about 65%, but they're given a 6-point advantage. I may take the Rams for the points, but that's iffy. But I definitely will go with Philadelphia to win at home. Remember, Philadelphia was my choice to win it all or win the NFC. So have to keep with them right now. They looked in the right direction. Nothing compared to where last year where they completely just collapsed. They're definitely they had that little hiccup towards the end of the season against Washington, but otherwise they're right where they need to be, playing the style they need to be. Jalen Hurts doesn't really have to do much, which is good because we have a workhorse like Barkley in the backfield makes things easier. I do like Philadelphia edging out the Rams so they can head to Detroit for the NFC Championship. And then the final game on Sunday, the battle of the MVPs. That's right, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens would head up to Buffalo to take on Josh Allen and the Bills, the two leading candidates for this year's MVP. Now, somebody said they should make them co-MVPs. I can see that. But I also give it to Josh Allen a little bit more because he's done more with less. And Lamar Jackson at least has, Derrick Henry he can rely on to really alleviate a lot of the pressure on him, which allowed him to thrive, make the throws he needs to throw. Even though stat-wise, Lamar Jackson is above Josh Allen in that category. I'm not down on that whatsoever. Lamar Jackson has a phenomenal year, and will continue to have a phenomenal year. But I think I don't know. I think the winner of this game will probably end up being MVP. I really do. I think it's going to be down to that. But, looking how these guys performed last week, Buffalo just decimated Denver. Well, Denver was definitely ahead of schedule in terms of making the playoffs anyway, so that's already been mentioned by Sean Payton himself. Is like, yeah, we're ahead of schedule. He wasn't expecting to be in the playoffs till the next season. And Buffalo was supposed to be like kind of a rebound year, and look where they're at. So then you look at, Baltimore, how they're able to beat Pittsburgh within a month, twice within a month, and really dominating defensively, and as well as doing enough offensively to win the game. And last time these two met earlier in the season, it was totally different games. I mean, Baltimore still trying to find their identity with Derrick Henry in the mix. They have that situation rectified. Baltimore is playing up here. The only thing that might hold him back is Zay Flowers. Right now, he's still listed as questionable. He's saying if he may start without practicing this week. But you saw a dip in the offensive numbers without Zay Flowers. Without that speedster out there, will change the outlook of the Ravens offense to a point. And Josh Allen finds receivers. I mean, he had so many different guys was catching the balls last week. You couldn't stop them all. So it doesn't matter if, the Ravens shut down Cook and could try to contain Josh Allen. I mean, try to contain a freight train is going to be hard to do. He's definitely going to go after Roquan Smith and try to, take him on head on. Just saying. Guy's built like a linebacker, but he plays quarterback. But, so it's going to be one of these things trying to ensure to try and make Buffalo a one-dimensional team may be a bad thing because Josh Allen will still be able to find those receivers. So that means the Ravens secondary has to be on point. They have to lock down those receivers, take away any type of target Josh Allen has, any type of safety net he relies on. Try to take that out of the equation. I think it's going to be a very, very close game right now. Analytically, is literally like right down the middle. 50.3% advantage Buffalo. They only have a 1-point advantage. This is going to be a battle up there in Western New York. Battling that lake effect wind and nature up there. Can Baltimore go in there and survive? Remember, this is a different Ravens team going in there. I have to stick with my Super Bowl predicted picks. I have Baltimore win the whole thing. In the way Baltimore's playing right now, it may come true. I like the Ravens to edge out Buffalo in a very close, heated contest between the two. But I do think Baltimore has a chance to win. It's a coin toss. I mean, you're not wrong no matter who you pick. I'll throw that one out there right now. You're not going to be wrong whoever you pick because this is going to be a very good game between these two. And I just like the Ravens just a little bit more than Buffalo. There you go. Those are my picks for the Final Four with Baltimore heading to Kansas City for AFC and then Philly heading to Detroit for NFC. We'll see how this one plays out, but definitely interesting playoffs. Some really good teams out there, teams that are surprising, some teams that your mainstay, you're like, of course, look who's there. Look who's coaching. Look who's the quarterback. Then you have two running backs in new locations, and look where they're at now. So, I actually got those two heading off into the Super Bowl because of that. Interesting, I say. Anyways, let me know down below what you think. Do you think I got my picks wrong? Which teams do you like better in this scenario? Is your team still your Super Bowl pick, or your team, for that matter, still in the running? So mix it up, comments below. the better this gets out, and people have to listen to my inconsistent ramblings. But if you like what I do and you're still here, hit that thumbs up. It means the world to me. Another thing you do to help support this channel is subscribe. A lot of you guys review my work. I love you for doing that. Now, me, subscribe. Does it cost you anything? That's right, $0. Definitely something we all need these nowadays. Way to do that is hit that subscribe button, click that bell icon, turn on notifications so you know next time I post any more content on my channel. And I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.